Iran did intend to kill Americans in the first attack on an Iraqi base last week that resulted in no casualties. The reason no casualties were sustained is that Iraqis that were given the heads up passed that warning on to Americans on the base. And again, Iranian missiles have targeted the green zone today. There is no further details that can be verified at this point in time. I present this information here as a matter of concern for what is happening in Iran and Iraq, and how the mainstream media and the demon rats are presenting these events to the world. First of all, we know that this region of the planet has valuable oil and gas reserves and is the major supplier of cocaine and heroin to the drug cartels. Secondly, war and dead people create chaos from which the New World Order cabal hopes to bring about their fantasy of utopia, where they rule 500 million people, the remainder of the planet's population as their slaves. See the Georgia Guidestones. The dead adults create orphans with nobody to care for them, and so a huge supply of children who nobody knows even exist are easy prey for child traffickers posing as humanitarian rescue organizations. Now, I don't mean to paint with a broad brush and accuse genuine concern for the welfare of innocents into something having a nefarious motive, but we've uncovered too much of this sort of shit not to be suspicious, but instead to be vigilant. Trust but verify, and when that trust is violated, discovered, and proven, that person or persons taking advantage of that trust should not be jailed, but publicly executed. Valuable natural resources, endless supplies of addictive drugs, and thousands of innocent children abducted and sold into sex slavery is the reason the demon rats give a rat's ass about this region of the world at all. Spare me the revolting, nauseating virtue signaling of that we're trying to help these people. I guarantee you that if the regions, Iraq, Iran, Afghanistan, and others, if that region's primary export was broccoli, we wouldn't be anywhere near that sandbox shithole. And not for nothing, who the fuck ever gave the U.S. government permission to send money to any foreign country? That's our money, and we as individuals should decide what to do with it. The government has no business and absolutely no constitutional authority to piss away our money anywhere but within our shores. If the good and generous people of the greatest country in the world would like to pay it forward, as thanks to God for their good fortune, they can start a GoFundMe for the homeless, disabled vets, or whatever they want. As we've seen recently with the most obvious kickback scheme with Creepy Joe in Ukraine and the oven mitt fashionista in Russia and in Haiti, we know how the DC Mafia works. This would, if done by civilians, bring down RICO Act charges in a New York heartbeat. But these criminals are still walking around free. And the gratitude of those who Trader 44 sent billions in cash to, they express thanks by shouting death to America. At least that's what we're told. And as I'm certain some of those 7th century barbarians feel that way, I believe the majority are secretly celebrating the takedown of al-Baghdadi and Qasem Soleimani. But you'll never see that on CNN or on mainstream media, because whether you want to believe it or not, the mainstream media has long ago sold out to the globalists. And if you, Mr. President, with all due respect, sir, if you believe this is the end of it, I'm sorry to inform you, you're very tragically mistaken. Their firing of rockets that missed may seem to you that they're trying to appease their hardliners and availing themselves of the only opportunity to back off and save face. Bullshit. They are the hardliners, and they're playing the two-level deception game. Takiya and Kitman. Sun Tzu, you're not the only one who's read it. The core teachings of their corrupted Quran, millions of copies of which were printed and distributed by the clowns in America during the Bush Sr. administration, says that infidels and Jews are not to be their friends, and to use every method of deception against them, and if possible, to kill them wherever you find them. Period. End of discussion. Most Muslims, as most Christians, especially Catholics, never read the Quran or the Bible, There are intentional mistranslations and intentional omissions in both books. However, modern translations of the Quran were done by the CIA because, unlike the Bible, no original texts of the Quran exist. It was all recitation by the memory of illiterate people and only committed to paper much later on. Therefore, if you want to usurp a culture, in this case Islamic culture, and morph it into a religious Nazi Fourth Reich, the easiest way to do it would be to corrupt its literature. They've corrupted our culture with Hollywood and the utter talentless trash they call music. But since Islam does not have any entertainment industry and no music at all, the only way to twist their beliefs to your advantage is to taint their religion. This is precisely what was done during the Clinton and more heavily during the Bush Sr. administration by the clowns in America, who printed Qurans in the USA and shipped them over to Iran. Prior to that time, a printed Quran was practically non-existent. With no ancient scrolls in Arabic to verify current literature, what was given to them as their holy book is simply a load of company mindfuck propaganda. As a result, an entire nation was involuntarily conscripted into mindless servitude of the deep state, which is the Nazi Fourth Reich sub nom. Brilliant execution of propaganda, Aleister Crowley style. It could only have been possible with the treasonous complicity of the corporate media. But we, on social media, took that imminent total victory out from under them when we caused the Hildebeest to lose a rigged election. Now she owes favors that she can't pay. The 16-year plan to destroy America was stopped in its tracks with the election of Donald Trump. The traitors are, however, still running around free and are actively subverting what we the people elected Donald Trump to do. If world peace is ever to be had, I'm sorry, but drone-striking two puppet scumbags isn't gonna cut it. And Iran just proved it. They launched more missiles today. If this is to be stopped, the president has to take it to the extreme. Sorry, that is what they want. They believe that as mankind is on the brink of destroying itself, Allah, which is not another name for God, but the proper name of a rock idol that the pagans worshipped long before Muhammad, that Allah will appear out of the clouds and save humanity, or some such nonsense. And you may say, that's insane, and it is, but they believe it and people act upon what they sincerely believe. That's Psychology 101. That's MKUltra mind control, which is also known as Black Dianetics, which is the misuse of the science of Dianetics developed in the 1950s by L. Ron Hubbard. And even Scientology, which is the result of the mathematical proof of the existence of the soul, they call it a thetan, has been corrupted by Hollywood types who turned the West Coast version of it into a members-only cult for millionaire film stars and elite pedivores. The Middle East culture is something that very few people in the Western world have any clue about. Their god is literally a rock. Their women are chattel. Incest and pedophilia are normal, and homosexuality is punished by death, except for adult male-to-boy rape, which is condoned but done in secret, possibly because a young boy is more attractive than a woman covered in black who reeks of perspiration from being in the hot sun all day and smells like athlete's foot. Middle Eastern women, especially from Lebanon, are drop-dead gorgeous. Don't get it twisted. But how, pray tell, does a man become attracted to someone who looks like a folded-up patio umbrella? That's why the following meme is so hilarious. It tells the truth surreptitiously and causes a normal human being who is not obsessed with washing the devil out of his nose before he goes to sleep to lose bladder control because of laughter. I spent half an hour trying to talk with them, wanting to learn about their culture, until the bartender cut me off and told me they were patio umbrellas. All kidding aside, that's my analysis. If you find it hilarious, you shouldn't, because the role model for this culture is a man who married a child when she was 6 years old, and consummated the marriage when she was 9 years old. I don't know what the fuck they call it, but I know what everybody in this part of the planet calls it. And those children who are given in marriage to these pedophiles are usually the victims of female circumcision. Their tube may call this hate speech, but Muslims will never deny it. It is written in the Quran. There are people who say morality is relative and that each culture has the right to its own beliefs to evolve on its own. What are we, Captain Kirk and the fucking Prime Directive? Don't criticize a culture for mutilating and raping its own children. I submit to you, people who say this have no moral compass. Do as thou wilt shall be the whole of the law. Go ahead and eat babies, just leave us the fuck alone. Sorry, that dog don't hunt for this patriot. I see you just slap a child, and I'll knock you the fuck out. And I'll tell you this, too. A culture that condones the abuse of women and children to such degrees cannot be trusted. Even those who profess to their beliefs, although otherwise peaceful, cannot be trusted either, since when the hardliners run out of radicals willing to be martyrs for a rock to get their 72 crystal clear raisins, who do you think they will seek to recruit as martyrs to carry out jihad against the infidels? You? Me? A good friend of mine, the late Dr. Stan Monteith, whose talk show Radio Liberty I was a guest on over a dozen times, used to say, quote, "We have the best enemies money can buy," end quote. Here's what I say. If you don't want the dog that bites the hand that feeds it to stop biting, stop feeding the dog. This is Dave from Inglorious Patriots, Net for Truth USA. Thank you for listening. Please subscribe to our backup channels, Net for Truth USA 2 Patriot channel, bitshoot.com/net4truth USA, and drop.space/@net4truth USA. We fly so close to the target, we are on our 5th fighter jet. We will be relentless and persistent until the enemies of freedom are defeated. You can support this channel by using the links in the description, but for a $100 donation, I will personally send you a autographed hardcover special edition copy of Land of Childhood's Fears. Also, visit my bookstore at lulu.com/net4truth USA. If you are viewing this video on BitChute, you can use the links in the description to support us, or simply click the green $ dot on our video to support this channel. Thank you. Links are in the description section.